Hi, it's Irene's world. It is what it is, and I wonder what it's like in your world. But in my world, it's all about living in the now. And just like Alice in the Wonderland, I cannot go back to tomorrow because I was a totally different person. So why not grab your hearts, lend me your ears, jump into my world and find out what's whirling around in Irene's world, because it is what it is. Welcome to my world, Irene's world, and in case you're wondering why I set up Irene's world, it's because I want to share my experience of the journey of self-inquiry, self-discovery, self-realization. I'm sure all of you will get to this point sometime in your life where you question the reason why you exist here, where you'll be heading. Mine has since taken its journey. I'm way ahead. The reason why I set up Irene's World is I would like to share my experiences, and probably it will encourage you wherever you are on your journey of self-inquiry, because that's the reason we're here. There comes a point in your life where you're going to ask yourself these pertinent questions. Who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? And for me, it started with this: the apple. I don't know what you have been told about your existence, but I'm coming from a generation where we were schooled about Adam and Eve who ate an apple, and because of that, the whole of humanity has sinned. And if we do not stand before a prophet, a pastor, or a church leader and confess Jesus is my Lord and Savior, then you're going to fry in hell for the rest of eternity. Now that didn't go down well with me, because at the back and at the bottom of my heart, I felt like there was more information that needs to be sought. And since then, I have embarked on my journey of self-inquiry, and I'd like to share my experiences so that they can encourage you wherever you are, whatever your point is, wherever you are in this life journey. This should encourage you to know that in the end, when you choose to seek, you can make it. Now, this is the story of Irene. Born in a strict Protestant family, well-to-do, went to the best schools, ticked off all those things that a child has to have in a family. I had it all: wonderful parents, lovely sisters, good cousins, going to good schools, graduated from uni, and I found myself ticking off all the things that are required in society to mark you as a successful person. Which are those things? Come from a well-to-do family, go to a good school, make it to university, after that get employed, find a husband or a wife, buy a house, build a house, buy a car, expensive one, have the children, add in some animals, probably have a ranch. Eventually you're going to retire and have a house, maybe in the Bahamas, I don't know. But that's the standard that society has set for us. And I have since ticked off most of those. But when I had ticked them to the point where I had graduated from uni, had now got a job, wasn't looking for a man, that question came up again. All because of Adam and Eve and the apple. So I asked myself again these questions. Did they really eat an apple? How come I am still eating an apple and I'm not in hell? Adam and Eve, were they really living beings? And if so, where did they bury them? We talk of Noah's Ark. Up to now, no one has found it. So here am I at that stage where I have ticked off more or less the standards required. I'm working a good job in radio, and these questions start to well up again, because I think I was not ready for the next step, which was find a man, settle down, have some children, blah, blah, blah. So the questions came up again, and I went on an intellectual search. Who are we? Why are we here? I read book after book after book, trying to find where Adam is, Eve is, whether an apple is sinful. One of the literature led me to this information that it's because they did that act which brings about children. And I'm like, but that's how all of us come into this world of existence, so that cannot be a problem. So I continued with my intellectual search. It caused me to become an introvert, though as an extrovert. And so I was more or less on my own, still seeking the journey of who I was, why I was here, and where we're heading. I locked myself into my work, became a workaholic, wasn't taking care of my health, and before I knew it, one day I was really ill, but I was pushing it. So a friend of mine comes to the office that day and says, Irene, you look rather funny. Your ears are all pink. You're all funny looking. Why don't you go for a medical checkup? So on her insistence, I went for the medical checkup. When I got there, the doctors told me, we need to treat you under an emergency because your temperature is high, you have malaria plus. If we don't deal with it now, it's going to go to your head and you will be cuckoos. And your body is weak. Remember, I'd become an introvert, wasn't taking care of my health, throwing myself into my work because I was scared of the next step in life, which is marriage. Because after that, what? Marriage, children, retire, death, and yet I don't know who I am yet. So that night when I'm at home, my body is all on fire. I felt like someone had spilled acid on my body. I was rushed to a medical facility. When I got there, the doctors on night duty decided to do still an emergency treatment to find a way in which they could quell the fire that was burning in my skin. I was put into my room, admitted, and every time the doctors kept checking on me, just looking at their faces, I knew I was facing a critical time. This was now an issue of life or death. Come the second night in hospital, I found myself jumping off the bed because I felt like now I was engulfed in a flame of fire. It was just consuming me. And while I stood in the middle of the hospital room, I saw a dark figure taking up shape in front of me, like deathly, but it had the same size and structure as me. And the more I looked at this deathly thing, the more I felt the life draining out of me and going into this figure. And I remember hearing inside of me saying, Irene, you're not going anywhere. You have life questions that you're seeking. You have a purpose why you're here. And until you find it, you're not going anywhere. And then I quickly told myself, I'm not going anywhere. And this thing that had taken shape in front of me disappeared, and that same power that had given it life rushed back into me. And I remember releasing a scream which caused the night nurse to come in. I was sedated, and after that I don't remember anything anymore. Well, I came around the next morning about 11 a.m. My skin was peeling. I looked like someone who had been burnt with acid. The doctors later on found out that they had treated me with a malaria treatment which had some contents that my skin was allergic to, sulfur contents. They were not so sure once again whether I was going to make it through the night. But I remember the doctor telling me after that round of checking in the morning, he said this, Irene, we are not the ones who saved you. This was beyond us. You better go and find God. And guess what? Having seen this deathly thing in front of me and the experience I'd gone through, once again, my hunger to find out who I was, why I'm here, where I'm heading was ignited. It was time to go and find God.